Hi guys, Tracy here with a layout using the Colorblind kit, which is the kit from November. I'm just showing some of the stamps that I was thinking I might use. These are the photos I'm going to use. I'm going to cut them apart. I also had that one, but I'm not going to include it. This is the sketch from the Scraptastic blog for this month, and I'm going to use that as my jumping off point. And I'm actually going to stick to the sketch fairly quickly, or sorry, fairly closely this time. I am thinking I'm probably going to cut up this mask for part of this layout, but also for some of my other layouts. And so I'm going to use it as a layering element. And before I did that, I just wanted to get lots of mask use out of it before I cut it up. And this red cardstock came in the kit, and I might use that for a Christmas layout coming up. And here I am just misting the yellow cardstock that also came in the kit. And I do have to pull up the nozzle every time I use the white one because the spring in it doesn't work. I'm also going to mist this one with gold Mr. Huey's. It's going to have a really pretty tone-on-tone effect. I'm just blotting the mask and the paper just to get some of the extra mist off of it so that it will dry quicker. Now I'm just going to go to my closet and get another bottle of the white Mr. Huey's. I have a backup one because I knew I was getting low on this one. So here it is, and this one the nozzle works fine, so I don't have to pull it up in between mists. Now I'm going to also use some Mr. Huey's silver on this one. I'm going to blot it, and that one looks really pretty too. So now my mask is very, very wet, so I had to dry it with my heat gun. And it's still quite wet even after drying it, so I'm going to put it aside and let it dry. I won't be using it until it's going to be one of my layers. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to use it at this point, but so these are the beautiful pattern papers that come in the Colorblind kit, and I absolutely love them. I'm thinking about using this blue one as a background paper, but I'm not gonna. At this point, I'm thinking about using these frames as the squares and rectangles on the sketch. And I don't know about that. It's looking a little busy. I would have taken off all of the hang tags, like all of the little strings, if I had done that. But I really want to play with these beautiful papers, so that is appealing to me a little bit more than using the tags. So I'm just having a look, and now I'm going to trim up my photo. This is my Creative Memories paper trimmer that Tanya gave me. Thank you so much, Tanya. She's my friend who comes and scrapbooks with me some Friday nights, and so I love using that for trimming up small things like these 3x2 photos. I think these are they might be 3.5 by 2.5. I will check and put the information in the information section for this video. Now the kit came with these beautiful Glitz Designs die cuts, and so I just picked out a couple that I think might go with this layout. I'm not going to end up using any of them, but now that I really like. I really like that look. I could have done that too. But I'm not gonna. Instead, I'm going to use this Amy Tangerine paper that came in the kit, and I'm just making a little crease with my fingernail of where I want to cut it. And now I'm bringing my paper trimmer over. This is my new Caterpillar Pro. I do need to turn off my video lights when I'm using it just to get the precision cutting. It casts a shadow that shows you exactly where the blade is going to cut, and in order for me to see that shadow, I do have to turn off my video lights. My regular lights are really quite bright, so I don't think a person who doesn't have video lights would have to turn off the lights to use their Caterpillar Pro. It's just because of my video lights that I have to. So it does take a while for my camera's auto exposure to kind of get used to the lights changing. So I think these are, now we're back to the regular color of the actual papers and so on. So I have these papers all picked out. I love the colors, and I'm just going to randomly cut them into 3x3 and 3x4 inch squares and rectangles. And that first paper with hello written all over it is from Pebbles, and the rest of these papers are all from Glitz Designs from the Finley collection, which I've been told is a baby collection. It has Christmassy colors. I love it. I thought for sure it was a Christmas collection, but since someone told me that it was a baby collection, I noticed that a lot of the stickers are have baby phrases on them. So definitely very versatile because you can use it for Christmas or baby or anything layouts, because this is neither a Christmas nor a baby layout. And so I'm just kind of trying to balance off those two dark red and also the two patterns that are the same. And I'm going to turn the pattern on one of them so that it's not exactly an exact duplicate. So that's how I'm going to lay this one out. And I'm going to use this little piece of paper which came in the kit. It's just a scrap from the green and red triangle paper. I'm going to use that as the banner that I'm going to put my title on. Sorry, I don't know where I went. I'm missing an action. Oh, I guess I was just cutting that strip. I'm going to put little flags on it later, little fishtails on it. So my lights will adjust pretty soon. I see it coming down the line that the colors will be normal again. There they are. So here I am famously misjudging the size of this circle. I always do this. I'm terrible at judging the sizes of circles. That one is too small for what I want. I was looking for something that was going to have the exact same scale as the layout. I just love this sketch so much that I really wanted to stick to it. So I'm thinking about what other paper I could kind of layer under the bottom photo. I thought about using this ABC die cut piece of cardstock, but it's not going to work. I don't like that very much. And now I think I'm just thinking I'm going to grab another piece of paper here in a second. I had to kind of dust off the photo a little bit. And now I am going to try this red, but it's way too dark and way too much red. The back side is not much better because it's too small of a design. And now I'm going to decide to use this mask. So I'm just going to cut off the border because it's less interesting, because just the edges are going to stick out, and if I left the border on it then you wouldn't even tell that it was a die cut. So it's going to look something like that. It just adds a tiny bit of texture and dimension to that side there where the photos and the title is. I do want to draw your attention there because that's where all the good stuff is going to be on this layout. The rest of it is pretty much going to be decorations. You know, just pretty paper all lined up. So now this is my glass cutting mat. It is for my slice. I don't have a slice anymore, but now I use it for my curvy cutter, which needs to go on a glass mat, which it doesn't come with. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're buying a curvy cutter, you will need a glass mat. It really does not work in one of those what are they called? Self-healing mats. I think the instructions say that you can use it on that, but it does not work well at all. It doesn't cut smoothly. So here I am. I accidentally cut that circle out of the wrong paper, and I didn't realize it until I already had it cut. So here I am now going back and making it that circle out of the right paper. And because it was the second time I was cutting this circle, I didn't do a good job of pressing hard all the way around. Now I have to tear this and trim it up. I will be back to cut a third circle because this is also going to be wrong. I'm going to put this on the layout and realize that it's actually way bigger than what I was looking for, which I would have known if I had have put the wrong circle on my layout just to test the size before I went and cut the hello paper. Anyways, here I am just thinking about whether I'm going to live with that circle too big or if I'm going to cut another one. I decided to swap my pictures there as well. And you might notice that my daughter's jacket is pink and all of the kind of pops of color on this layout are red. I'm just ignoring the pink, and sometimes I do that. I don't strive too much to coordinate my photos with my paper. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So now I'm just going to cut this ring off of the hello paper by Pebbles, and that's going to leave me with a ring. I am going to use all of these accidentally cut wrong circles and rings on other layouts, or I hope I get to use them. I'm just keeping them in with my kit for now. That's part of using a circle for me, is I end up with lots of circles and only using one. So I'm just going to glue down this Amy Tangerine paper. I like to use the grid lines on my mat for that. It helps with rectangular pieces to make sure that they're even-ish. They don't have to be perfect, but I like them to be at least not horribly off. I'm going to cut off that extra piece because it was making it difficult to judge the sizes that I needed. Or I guess the placement. So that's looking about right. Again, I wanted to pull in one of those frames, but it's just not, I can't make it work. So I'm going to outline these pieces of paper, and what I'm doing here is you might notice that I did not outline the Amy Tangerine paper when I put that down. That was the bottom layer. And what I'm doing is I'm outlining only these 3x3 and 3x4 squares, and that's going to bring them all together and make them look like a set of shapes instead of, you know, randomly placed pieces of paper on a layout. Which looks good too, but I just wanted to bring them all together. I specifically didn't outline the other elements because I want these to really look like a set, and when everything is outlined, then these won't stand out as much. So I can't remember if I mentioned, but most of these papers are by Glitz Designs. I've had to narrate this 3 times now because my iMovie is acting up, but I hope that I don't sound like a robot right now while I'm talking. I guess I'll find out at the end. Anyways, all of those papers are from Glitz Designs from the Finley collection, except for the Hello 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 paper, which is by Pebbles. I'm pretty sure those green triangles are from Glitz. Pretty sure. Yep, they are. So I'm gluing these all down, and I'm putting adhesive on the inside, kind of on the center, because I know I want to sew down the edges, the outside edges of each of these columns of pattern paper shapes. But what I didn't realize is that I would later decide to stick some journaling into these. I kind of thought that they made good pockets, and my initial idea was to put journaling in each of those, under each of those pattern papers, like little, okay, so that's what it looks like with the sewing. I did have to go off screen to sew because my little sewing machine the tension wasn't working on it for this layout. It's fixed now, I fixed it this weekend. So I'm just going to trim this off, and what I was saying is about the journaling. I was going to put little journaling tabs in under each one of those, like little pullouts, and I might do that on another layout, but I'm not going to do it on this one because there's adhesive down the middle of each of these. So that would be really hard to put a journaling pocket or a journaling tag inside of each of those, but I'm going to do it in one. So I'm just turning up the edges of the paper with my fingers. That just gives it some texture and it just kind of emphasizes the sewn edges. So they're very flat in the middle and very edgy on the edges. So now I'm figuring out the placement for my circle and little die cut piece. From that little mask is from Jilly Bean. I can't remember if I said that. So here I am just putting the fishtails on my banner piece that I already cut out before. That's where my title is going to go. I'm going to outline it even though I wasn't outlining other things, just because it is quite a bit of a softer color than the other colors on this layout, and I wanted it to stand out a little bit. I'm going to put a title on it with the stickers that came in the kit. So I'm going to go get those right now, I think. Yep. And these are Amy Tangerine stickers. The font is called Cutout, not cut and paste, Cutout. I think it does coordinate with the cut and paste collection. Just going to use my wax paper to make sure that these are going to fit on the flag that I've already cut. I intended to just recut it if for some reason they didn't fit, but they did. So I'm just putting them back in their package. I didn't repackage my thickers this time. I usually put them in my own little thicker bags. So I'm starting in the middle, and I'm going to just place these letters. The tops of them are going to hang over onto the photo that is right above the title, and the bottoms are going to sit on the banner. As I narrate this, I'm having other ideas of what I could have done, and when you see my month in review, there's the title, this layout might change because I'm not entirely happy with this layout. I don't often change layouts, even if I'm not happy with them. I usually just stick them in my album because, you know, sometimes A, my opinion changes as time goes by, and B, you can't fuss about making every single layout exactly perfect the way that you want it to be. Sometimes you just have to kind of leave it and move on and use that as good learning for your next one about what works and what doesn't work, or what you, I mean, everything works if you like it, right? It's all about your own personal sense of style and taste. But you know, I use it as a learning experience most of the time, but this might be one that I might change. So keep an eye out for that in my month in review video. The jury's still out on whether I'm going to change this one. If I change it, I'll change over the left-hand side of it. So I'm just, I had to make sure that that picture was in the right place before I pressed down to make that adhesive stick. And I'm just putting some foam dimensional stickers on either side of my banner so that the banner edges pop out a little bit from the page. And then I'll place the bottom picture based on where the top picture is, so it's right below it. Like that. I really like that die cut piece sticking out on either side. It just adds a little bit of interest. I especially love how it sticks out on the left-hand side. You get the little arrow effect. It looks really great. Having a look at the Ormolu little tags that came in the kit, and I didn't find anything that grabbed my attention. I'm looking for something to do some journaling on that I'm gonna tuck the journaling into one of the pockets. Although they're not actually pockets because they're all glued down. So I'm just pulling out some This Life Noted cards that came in the This Life Noted kit for pocketed scrapbooking, and I picked out a couple of really neutral ones that would make good journaling spots, and I'm just going to cut it down a little bit, and there you see the shadow. That shows you exactly where this trimmer is going to cut. I do have a review coming, but I'm not sure if it's going to be up right away of that trimmer. So here I am trying to get this in, and so it needed to be thin enough that it fit between the two sewn lines, and I just kind of pushed my way through the adhesive so that it would just basically unstick the glue that's under that hello 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 paper. I'm using one of those Ormolu tags that has like a fish tail banner edge on it, and I'm also using one of those candy dots that came in the kit as well. My lights will adjust fairly soon, I hope. Sorry about the change in the colors. And I just stapled them all in place with my tiny attacher, and now I'm going to do my journaling. And I accidentally started with too broad of a tip pen. I wanted my journaling to be I wanted to do lots of journaling and squeeze it all onto the front page, so I wanted a narrower marker so I could put my words closer together and smaller. So the journaling, I don't have it in front of me right now, but you'll see it at the end. There is a close-up of the journaling, and I'm just talking about how every time that Scott and I see or talk about apples, we always say these apples are delicious. As a matter of fact, they are, she said, because those are lyrics from a Bare Naked Lady song, an old one. And now, so I just wanted to get that journaled because our kids think we're crazy. They totally don't understand the joke. So now this is not like the most awesome layering on the back here. I basically just wanted to decorate it up a little bit because all the words wouldn't fit on the top, or sorry, on the front of that card. And so because it will be turned over, I just didn't want it to be turned over and look so unplanned. So I just put a couple of stickers back there. It's more just for my own. I'm the only one who's ever going to look at this, but there's the journaling. I'll freeze it for you. So, and then I'll freeze the back too. There you go. So, yeah, what am I going to do next? I'm going to put that right in where it belongs. And now I'm going to think about how I'm going to decorate some of these pieces of pattern paper. I don't want to decorate them all because the pattern paper themselves are really the star of this layout. But I wanted to add a few goodies. I'm going to end up using all 3 of the flare badges that came in the Colorblind kit. And I'm also going to use one of the frames. I'm going to use the yellow one. And a couple of the ormolu tags. I'm just going to layer them. And I want to use that arrow. I'm going to put it over there, and that's going to be the start of a bit of a nightmare that you'll get to see and live along with me. That's the great thing about videotaping your layouts is everybody gets to see your mess ups. So yes, I'm checking the date on my phone because I can't remember when we went apple picking. I'm going to, yeah, I thought about doing that, but no, I don't like that. Never mind. Because that triangular paper is too busy for the frame and the tags and stuff. It needs to be on more of a plain background, and that's what the red one is. I was worried that it would be a little bit too heavy for the top of the layout, and that's why I thought about switching the 2 of them, but I like it better up at the top, so I'm going to leave it up at the top. So yes, now it's just a matter of putting this together. So I'm going to glue that little label tag from Ormolu. I'm going to glue it onto the frame, and then I'm going to stick the other Ormolu tag in there wherever I think it's going to look good. A little bit of fussing here, but it's fun fussing. I enjoy it. So this is the kind of stuff that I take my time with because I really enjoy putting things together like this. I really love sticking pretty things to other pretty things. That's what scrapbooking is all about for me. It's hard to make a mistake when everything is pretty that you're working with, right? So there is that corner, and I'm just going to staple the string in place so it doesn't stray. I like it exactly like it is. So now I'm just going to, I thought about using a roller date stamp, but it wasn't going to fit and I didn't want to mess with it. So I used my pen, and my journaling was way too far over the side. So I decided I better fill up that white space and look like I did it on purpose. So I added some of these cool hexagon enamel dots from Prima that came in the kit. And now what am I doing? Oh, I can't remember. I seem to have, oh yes, I was outlining that little banner because it was blending in too much with the pattern paper behind it. So I outlined it so it stands out a little bit. I thought about misting or inking the wood veneer on this layout, but there's so many colors in the layout already that I thought the neutral punch of the wood was just what it needed. Like I didn't want to add any bright colors there, so because the colors were all over the pieces of paper. These wood veneer owls that came in the kit, I'm pretty sure they're exclusive to the kit, are fabulous. I absolutely love them. They're amazing. And there's a matching owl stamp, both of them, two matching owl stamps in the kit as well, which was awesome. Then I had a little bit of space at the edge of that banner that I put some enamel dots on, and now here comes the invasion of the arrows. So the thing is that once I put an arrow down, a sticker arrow on a photo, if I want to take it off, it leaves a mark. So I end up needing to reprint the photo, peel off all those stickers, and put the new photo in. And so once I got started down this track, there was no going back. Although, as I mentioned, this side of this layout might get a bit of a makeover before the end of the month. I'm not entirely sure because these arrows, I don't know, man. It was a good idea, but it just didn't really come together the way I had in my mind. And that sometimes happens. See, this is me saying, wait a minute, I don't want to do this anymore. Wait, stop. I can't go back. So I leave them there because that top one was just stuck down too good. You know, I could have pulled it off anyways and then put something else over where the sticker mark was, or I could have just reprinted the photo. Those stickers aren't all that sticky, so it's easy enough to pull them off. But anyways, it is what it is. So the kit came with this really sweet little sticker, and I can't remember, or stamp, and I can't remember what it says. Something about autumn. It's really, really cute. Autumn memories, I think it says. It's just adorable. So there was a bit of space there. There were kind of only two things. The wood, even though there were three items, there were only two different things there, and I like my clusters to have three. So now it has a stamp, a wood veneer, and a flare. So then I just added a little punched out heart up there in the corner. I'm just going to stick it down with some Zig 2-way glue, and yeah, I think that's it. Here, yeah, I'm going to fuss with these arrows again. One last minute try to see if I can get it off, but no, it's staying put. And here are the close-ups of it. There are some photos at the end too, but here I'm just going to show you. This cluster came together really nice. I really love those enamel dots and the hexagons. They're awesome. And the stitching on that pretty pattern paper is just awesome. I love the colors in the kit this month. It was so much fun to work with. And those adorable little owls are just among my favorite wood veneers that I've ever seen. Love, love, love them. There's the disaster of the arrows, and there's the title, which is otherwise really cute. I really like this layout other than the arrows on the left hand side there. Here are some photos that you guys can take a look at. Be sure to check out my end of the month video. It's usually called Out with the Old, and it sometimes has the title Kill a Kit as well. That is where you will see any changes that happen. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to change it because sometimes I just leave things as they are. But thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I hope you all have a great scrappy week.